You guys gonna sing Happy Birthday again?
You know where the Joe's Chalk Shop is? There's a road right beside there, and then we live in the only house on that side. It's really easy. It's a red brick house, we're the only house on that road. There's an old shack there that is hard to state property. Yeah, this is it. This is last. I wouldn't wear one either.
I miss all those golden friends, but comes time. Jimmy and Judy. Well, the reason I said they're married again, we tried this and we went everywhere and I couldn't afford to pay. Not be there. But still, you have to know. Yeah, man, this is big. Not your sister.
I videotaped all day yesterday. Yeah.
How did your family reunion tapes come out?
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I hate keeping things.
You don't want to say anything, huh? I'm not gonna get you in trouble. Gee. Yeah, hard to find. You got any advice for the world there, young man? You're on the TV here.
Yes.
What you got to say? What you got to say about to your grandkids? They're gonna be looked at someday. What you gonna say to that little sucker? Got him on the spot. He won't say nothing. You not say nothing to your grandkids? No. Yeah.
Oh, that's what I thought.
You don't say anything to your grandkids? Golly. Let's see. Boy, my dad or grandpa sure was bashful, wasn't he? Kids there.
I hope you had better luck than I did.
Shot them down, Storm. Say your grandkids.
Oh, I don't have any.
You don't have any grandkids? That's when you can spoil. You don't have to worry about them.
Spoil them, send them home.
You can spoil the grandkids, you know. You got any advice for your dad? Here. Come here and say hi. Boy, what a pretty... Hey, you're not going to tell me your name with a C?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's after our grandma, huh?
Yes, sir.
Well, probably the only one. I didn't know that. And here comes old Margaret.
Bad enough as it is.
Margaret, I've been trying to get these people to say something to the grandkids, and they won't do it. You want to say something to your grandkids?
I don't have no grandkids.
You're not going to have any?
Well, I don't know. That's up to Sarah. I ain't getting married again, I can tell you that.
You ain't got anything to say to grandkids, huh?
No, sir.
Now, what do you got to say to your grandkids?
That's enough.
I'm having 10 more.
You having 10 more?
You say that's enough right there?
Yeah. Wouldn't take nothing for the ones I got, but
Don't bring
eat
home any
more
more.
yet.
Okay. Well, Aunt Lucy, how you been doing?
Well, I'm still breathing a little.
You got anything to say to Radio Land out there? You got anything to say to your grandkids?
Which one?
Well, Pam's bound to have a few. You ain't got any advice or anything, huh?
If that thing goes down, you get your own
This boy is here, his son. Don't wear
Where you gonna stand at? Right over in front of the table might not be bad. We gotta keep your
Be like me, you're gonna be looking at these and you say, oh my God, I look good then. Boy, I wish I know it. You say, man, look at that.
Lereva, you should have never let him in the house.
I look at some of those old home movies and I say, why did I think I was so homely? I was handsome.
Now that's enough, Johnny.
Okay. What's your name, huh? Courtney. Courtney? Whose baby are you, huh?
My mommy,
Who's your mommy?
Campbell, and Dabble.
Oh. And who's that lap you're sitting on? Who's he?
I don't know.
You don't know?
This is Ted.
Come on, tell me who it is.
Uncle Tommy.
Uncle Tommy. Oh.
Kelly.
Yeah. I was wondering where you disappeared to.
You sure you want that?
Hey, I was just telling him in there, I was telling Carolyn, I said, hey, one of these days you look at that and you say, man, I didn't know I looked so good. I look back at those made in the 60s and I say, my God. I got a real good picture of me and you when I was back here on leave. We were standing up behind the house when you lived out on the bayou. And I was going to bring that to you, and I forgot to bring it. But boy, it's a really good picture.
Well, I've got some pictures somewhere there, Johnny, that I can't find. I don't know what went with them. I got them in a little folder, and I can't find them.
Hey, that's about the way I am. I go plowing through everything.
That's all right.
That's good. Lereva hadn't got the best of you. Hello, darling.
Where you been?
I've been home.
Been hit out of the way I can get out.
You got your name.
You all right?
Just give it to the
That's
Lord.
good.
You been working today?
That's all right.
No.
Yes, sir.
You busy?
Well,
They don't get home.
I got a birthday coming. I can be on Saturday, but I'll be getting older.
You'll get there pretty soon, won't you?
Yeah, way too soon.
If you later.
Yeah, way too soon.
Good to see you, Shirley. You too. See you
Well,
again
where?
sometime. No, I'm gonna put it, but she's gotta go because she.
I remember I was home on leave and I took some pictures of Curly and Sis and Kathy, the baby. That's what I was thinking about. What a change, what a years, you know. Everybody says he's Sebastian, he won't talk to you. I said, I don't know what's wrong with him, he won't even hardly talk. He was one of the friendliest guys I've met in Arkansas, I think. I'm going to try to run down and see Faye. I might not even make it down there so late.
Which one, little girl was that? My name is Callie.
She wouldn't even tell me that a while ago. I didn't know she was named after Grandma.
Yeah.
Well, that's really something.
What is her name? She can tell you she's 2. Can you tell me how old you are?
I was going to send a copy of this tape to some producer in Hollywood and see if we...
Put her down there.
She probably is going to sneak by. Well, look at those cool shades. Hey, you got anything to say to your grandkids? Huh? What do you got to say to your grandkids? Huh?
Eddie and Randall.
You haven't got anything to say to your grandkids? No? No future advice?
like me.
It's one of
And he said, "Hey,
Was raised
Lois is the daughter of Frank Johnson and Callie Ramsey Johnson. Both were born in Searcy County and later moved down to Hill Creek, the Plummerville area. This is a picture of Grandma Johnson's parents, William Fox and Martha Ramsey. Grandma Fox always looks very intelligent and sophisticated in all of her pictures. They say she was highly intelligent. She was the first telephone operator up in Searcy County. And Grandpa Fox, he installed telephones because he was a mailman. If you look above Grandma's head there, you can see the quilt block made by Aunt Lois when she was a young girl. This is a picture of the oldest living and known relative we have. This is Bradford Ramsey's wife, Catherine Cornett. She lived to be 97 years old. I don't have a picture of Grandpa Ramsey. We haven't been able to locate one. This is the parents of Grandma Fox. This is a picture of Grandpa Johnson's parents. His mother was Martha Kirkendall, and his father was William Johnson. As you can see, he's already crippled by arthritis and using a cane. So Grandpa, he inherited this from both sides of the family. That's Grandpa sitting there by his mother in a dark suit. I was very surprised to see what a handsome young guy he was. For some reason, Ellis Jr. reminds me of him in our family. But then all of us seem to have his resemblance to a certain extent. Above him is Bayless. Uncle Abby's son, Noby, told me Grandpa was very fastidious. He even plowed with a necktie on. He wouldn't think of going into town without a necktie. This is a picture of Grandma Johnson. I think Aunt Lois looks a lot like. We think this is a picture of Grandpa William Johnson's brother, George Johnson, and his wife, Martha Jane Kirkendall. Or Mary Jane, I should say. Mary Jane and William's wife, Martha, were sisters. And Uncle George, as he's called, later moved to Plummerville, and I think that's why Grandpa ended up down at Plummerville. Doll Cemetery. Here's a picture of great-great-grandma Kirkendall. She and her husband walked all the way from Georgia with their teenage children about 1858. They were trying to escape all the pre-Civil War misery. They walked every step away from Georgia to Searcy County. They were hard-working people. During the Civil War, they burned practically all their crops and later came back and burned their house. Grandma and them had to seek refuge in Marlton at the federal compound there, since the Yankees had captured Marlton. Grandpa, he was forced to join the Confederate Army, but he didn't want to belong to either one, but since he was forced to join the Confederates, he went AWOL and joined the Yankee Army. He retired as a sergeant. Of Of course, things are pretty rough on him when he went back up Searcy County. All those Yankees as neighbors. Those people really suffered during those days. This is a picture of Grandma Fox there on one side there, and then her brother in the middle and his wife. I think this is a picture of William Preston, they called him, and his wife was Martha Lawrence. There's 14 Ramses. They all had quite a large family in those days. So we have a lot of missing Ramsey relatives up there. On the back of this picture here it says, Barry and wife pay respects to uncle. Barry Ramsey, spelled B-E-R-R-Y on the picture, is William Preston's nephew, and Barry Ramsey's father was James Ramsey. I think they call him Jim. I'm not sure if this is the same house or where they're sitting on the porch or not. I don't see the ferns sitting there. This is a picture of Grandma Fox's or Grandma Johnson's brother. Let's see, which one is it? It's his wife, Arvella, sitting there by him. This is Uncle Thomas Franks. Tommy McElroy looks a lot like him, and I think he looks a lot like his namesake. This is a picture of Grandma and her sisters, and no, I'm not sure Grandma's on here. I think that's just her sisters. It's Uncle Thomas. Ollie, Liza, Peggy, and Emma. I think they were a very handsome family. They were all very well proportioned and tall. This is Grandma Johnson here. As you can see, I think she's got a dip already, which is fashionable in those days. And I think that's in Ollie and Emma there in the background. Peggy and Eliza. One of them's missing. And here they are again at the Barnes reunion. I remember this. I was very small. It was held in the Crocodile Cemetery up there, Searcy County, close to Oxley, where Grandma and Grandpa lived. I remember when we were coming down the mountain, Uncle Thurman, or Uncle Andy one, I forget whose truck we went up there in, they had to stop and tie a small pine tree to the back axle and drag it down, keep running off the hillside, or just to make sure. This is Aunt Emma. She married Will Morrison. This is they might have this mixed up. They have this Aunt Emma married Will Morrison. Bronya married Sherman Morrison. Here's a picture of Grandma Johnson and her first two grandchildren. That's Velma and Gertha. Here's a picture a lot of people might not have, made shortly before Grandpa Johnson died, and his aunt that he hadn't seen since a young boy came back for a visit. And this is made up in Little Rock. It's Bob Swopes, and there was a striped tie on him. Dalf's husband. And then Grandma's brothers. Uncle Thomas Fox. That's Grandpa's Aunt Catherine Carter, there in the middle. It's Grandma Fox's sister, Catherine Ramsey. I always felt bad because we never went together and bought Grandma some nice dress clothes like her sisters always had. Grandma always had to have some hand-me-down, but if you gave her money for clothes, she'd usually spend it on something else. This picture here, you can see Dalf and Bess Raymer. John Raymer's her husband, Daphne and Uncle Jess and Aunt Emma Smith. There's a picture of Aunt Ollie Franks and Jim Smith. We call him Jimmy Howard. And Carla June, that's Daphne's daughter. Here's a picture of Grandma Johnson and four of her daughters. The twins, Viva and Leela, sitting behind her on her left. And Aunt Edith in a black dress, they're sitting by her. And Aunt Lois in a white dress. It's amazing how women actually look younger today, 20 or 30 years, than they did in those days. I'm showing this picture of all his cousins because there's Aunt Lois's first children in this. Down in the lower right-hand corner is Dub with the dark hair, and sitting between him is Billy Ray. The next, little Martin. And then it's Bobby Lee sitting by Dub. I always thought Bobby was a cute little devil when he was little. This is a picture of Pete holding Helen Sue, and Cora Sue there is holding Lereva May. There's me and Ed there in the middle, and Faye in the back holding Frankie Lewis, our little brother. As you can see, old Ed is already putting poundage on me. He's about a head taller, weigh about 10 or 15 more pounds. Here's me and old Dub sitting there in the background. We're down at the bio down at Grandpa and Grandma's. Bobby's standing in front of me with his arms around Sonny Johnson, Uncle Troy's first boy. And Ellen Joe is standing back there holding Charlie. And Uncle Troy's daughter, Sis, or I should say Lois, who's named after Aunt Lois, standing there in front of Coruscant. And here's a picture I like of me and old Dub when I came back here on my way overseas. I recently just found this negative, lost all my junk. And of course we know who this is. Look at those big old dark eyes of Martin's. This is Michael. I forget how old he was at that age. And this is 1973, I think. I should have kept the pictures out so I could read on the back of them. Some of the school pictures Aunt Lois sent to me. He was a very handsome little guy there. All the Martin children were handsome. Here's a picture of Margaret. Most beautiful eyes I ever saw in a person. I think that's a trait of Martin's. I used to tell Margaret how pretty she was, but she never believed me. And look at those eyes. They're just, should have been a model for Maybelline. She was a beautiful young girl. She had a terrific sense of humor and was always upbeat and a lot of fun to be around. And a nice girl too, a sweet girl. As you can see, I got carried away on those eyes, but I've never seen more beautiful eyes on a person. And here's a picture of Danny. I don't know how Cassie likes Arkansas, but she sure got a family, a family now. There's Aunt Lois and her son-in-law, Danny. And an old pug. Virginia Gale, I should say. And here's a picture of Aunt Lois's grandchildren. Jimmy and Christine's children. And here's a picture of Danny Wayne when he was in grammar school. Again, look at those dark Martin eyes. He was always an upbeat and fun guy. And here's a picture of Ellis Jr. Ellis always had that confident look about him. Also an upbeat person. Nice to be around all the time. Earlier picture of Margaret. One she wanted me to tear up one time. And here's Aunt Lois standing out the back of the house. That's Billy Ray's wife, Carolyn, in the back. And Ricky when he was a baby. And here's a picture of Aunt Lois and Uncle Ellis made in Faye's backyard the day I was here, and they threw a dinner for me. I hadn't been back for quite a while. And in a way, this is how our reunion got started. Everybody talked about how they hadn't seen each other since I was there the last time and joked around and started a family reunion. We all got together here when I was going away overseas, and I came back. Some of them hadn't seen each other since I'd been there the other time. Look how small Pug is standing there, and Michael leaned up against his mom. And here's Dub and Lorraine and their children. I forget, Robbie, I think had something, he had hurt his head or something. I forget, he's all bandaged up. And here's a picture of some of us guys. Bill Ray's on the end. Me and Uncle Thurman, Curly, Uncle Henry, and Uncle Ellis. Curly, Ellis, Randy Jr., and myself. I forget if that's Danny or Johnny Lee sticking his head through there. I think it's Johnny Lee. Here's a picture of Danny. Picture of Leela and Uncle Thurman. Twins, Viva and Leela with Curly. Aunt Leela was absolutely crazy about Curly. Before I even met Curly, I'd heard so much about him, I was almost sure he walked on water. So I drove out to meet him. Everybody said I wouldn't get 2 words out of him. He was too bashful or he didn't talk. I thought he talked quite a bit. We got along pretty good, first meeting anyway. I thought it was a marriage made in heaven. Couldn't be any better. There they are with Kathy. She was a smart little rascal. Lereva and I were sitting in the car talking in front of the house, and Lereva was casually rocking her foot back and forth and closing the door. And that Kathy sat there and watched and saw how the door pushed that button to turn the dome light on and off. And I was watching her getting a big kick out of it. And pretty soon she walked over and she shoved that door to, and boy, her eyes just lit up when that light went off, and she found out that was what it was. So then she took her finger and pushed that little button. I thought, boy, what a smart kid. This picture here, I left a board up there to show that these pictures were made in 1959. I always liked this picture of Lereva and Curly and Kathy. I made copies of these when I got overseas and went to photo labs. I'm sure Quite a few of these are floating around. Do a little juggling here, see if I can get a better picture of Kathy. What a beautiful child she is. Here's Billy Ray and Carolyn and Ricky back down at Faye's in the backyard. I was fascinated by Ricky smoking. He actually smoked. He didn't pretend to smoke. He smoked. He'd walk over and get a light from his dad or somebody and puff away. Some smaller child would walk up to him and he'd caution him, tell him to move back, and say, no, 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 burn, burn. He's very responsible, though. Yeah, I guess his dad and mom told him if he didn't watch the ashes, he couldn't smoke anymore. I thought Carl Dean got an early start on dipping snuff and smoking, but Ricky beat his record, I think. There's Kathy and Curly. That day I was making black and white pictures, and then I made some color film same time. Color film come out with a greenish tint to them, but I'm glad I made them because picture me and my granny. Can't quite get these films centered so I can get a close-up on them. Also, some of these film are pretty dusty. There's Uncle Thurman and Lereva. They were very close. She always liked her Uncle Thurman. Of course, I think we all liked Uncle Thurman quite a bit. There's me and my Aunt Leela and Aunt Viva. Both were very good to me and very affectionate. I always felt loved when I was around them. It meant a lot to me. Here's a color shot of Rick and Carolyn and Billy Ray. Picture me and Carolyn. Uncle Thurman, Aunt Viva, and Aunt Lila. Here's Uncle Andy and Aunt Edith and her family. Helen Jo and her 2 children. Anita, and I forget her first son's name. I should have had these notes or something to go by. John Lee and Larry, Andy Jr. This is the day I went crazy and took all the kids downtown and bought them clothes. I first wanted to buy John Lee a little suit, since he's my namesake. So Larry was there with me, and I hated not to get him something, so I ended up getting him a little shirt. And Andy Jr., there's a little jacket I bought for John Lee. Boy, he's a handsome little guy. I bought him a pair of cowboy boots, I think. I'd had some money saved up my leave, so I didn't spend all my money on beer anyway. I think I ended up getting Faye and all of her girls' outfits. There's me and John Lee and Larry. Here's a picture of Linda. I think that's Nancy, their buyer. Tommy McElroy there, and Billy Ray, and I looked this upside down, I couldn't see who that was. Me and Anita and Helen Jo and my sis Faye. Picture of Billie Jean and Albert. Here's a picture of Jean putting on a little show. Here's a picture of Jean and Jess. She always felt close to Jess, or liked him quite a bit. There's Jean clowning around it some more. And here's Jess and Faye and their girls. Dorothy standing next to her mother, and Mary next to Dorothy, and Peggy and Debbie in front. Jess Faye was already married. Here's me and my brother-in-law, Jess Hicks. Here's a picture of me and Faye when we made a trip up to Pigeon Mountain. Picture of Jess and Dorothy and Mary. Another picture of me and Faye. Here's Faye and Peggy and Debbie. And here's a picture of Grandma and Aunt Vivian and Eliza, I think. Here's a picture when we went out to the creek above Marlton. A little too cold for swimming, but we just went driving around mostly. Here's a picture of me and Granny and Uncle Henry standing by Sonny Johnson's new car. This is the day of the family reunion at Grandma's yard. This is after I came back from overseas from the other visit. Here's this of Lois, or Sissy, and her first husband, Freddie Beavers. Here's me and Grandma again. Here's a sweet picture of Earlene. I love the natural pose and the color. When I get a close-up here, it looks like it's a little dusty and dirty. She certainly had a clean face. So I get that dust off of it. Could have made a better picture, but I didn't notice it until it was already made. Here's Earlene and Peanut, Sonny and Opal's boy when he was a baby. They're sitting on Uncle Henry's porch in a swing Uncle Henry made. Sonny told me that Peanut liked that swing so well, Uncle Henry gave it to him, and they've still got it. Moved it with them to Dallas. There's another shot of Earlene. Curly and Sis, second daughter. Here's a picture of me and my cousin Helen Sue and Judy, her good friend, who later married Tommy McElroy. This is some of the few pictures you're going to see of Helen Sue and her natural hair. She probably didn't know I got these. Here's a picture of Linda and Tom. No, it's Tommy's new car. The same as Charlie. Picture of Tommy and Charlie. Here's a picture of Jean and her daughter Renee. This is in Grandma's backyard, the first family reunion we had after I came back over in Germany, over Europe. And as you can see, it's Michael coming around the corner of the house there. He's grown quite a bit. I think so, it's Mike. Here's a picture of me and Jean. I finally started putting on a little weight, but I was still pretty thin. There's Deanie and his grandma, Aunt Beaver, and Renee, her only 2 grandchildren. Here's some good shots of Grandma and her children. She's standing there with Uncle Troy, and Aunt Beaver and Aunt Lila on each side, and Aunt Lucille and Aunt Edith in the middle there, and Aunt Lois in the blue. We all had a great day that day. And the only one missing was our mom, Gertha. And of course, we all missed her terribly. Here's another shot of him. I usually took 2 or 3 different shots, different poses in case one didn't come out. Here's a picture of me and Aunt Liza. I think it's Aunt Emma. Could be Aunt Peggy, I forget. This is Aunt Liza's little house over in North Little Rock. She lived by herself one time. I always loved Aunt Liza and her sense of humor. How she got along with young people. Cracked jokes. Here's a picture of Aunt Lucille standing in the backyard of Aunt Beaver's house. Here's a picture of her and Bill and their daughter Pam. Aunt Lucille certainly looked terrific those days. Of course, she was always a sweet thing to us cousins. When we were little, we just thought the sun set and rose Aunt Lucille. And I think most of us still feel that way. She was a very loving aunt to all of us. Aunt Lucille and Bill took me for a ride down to Arkansas Post. This Aunt Lucille standing in front of the old Ford house. Of course, they didn't have it fixed up too much for tourist attraction in those days. Here's a picture of Bill and Pam Another shot of the fort with Bill and Pam on the front porch, and Aunt Lucille. This is a shot of a little swimming hole up above Marlton. Aunt Viva and Uncle Thurman, Aunt Leila and Uncle Henry, and Helen, Sue, and I all went for a drive one day and went swimming out there. Here's a picture of Uncle Henry and Aunt Leila clowning around after swimming. Here's a picture of Helen and Sue sitting by her loving dad. They were very close. I like this camcorder. You can take a slide like this and get a close-up, and a lot of time you can see more details, and it makes the color light up better when you get a close-up. This is made at the swimming pool in Lone Oak one day when we were up there visiting Edith and Uncle Andy. Judy and Helen, Sue, and Danny Wayne went swimming. He was sure a funny little guy. I don't know who those guys are. I started to get a close-up here, but I don't think they were with us. Looks like Judy's all over Danny Wayne there. Here's a picture of Helen Sue and her mom, Aunt Leila. I didn't get a chance to see who that little girl was. I think it must have been a neighbor. Sue took in every neighborly kid she could get, I think. She loved children so much. Good shot of Helen, Sue, and Judy. This is when she lived down on the road going towards Wright out of England, just after you leave the blacktop. There's Danny Wayne. Big old grin on his face. It's Uncle Henry's new pickup, I think. You can see he's always in a good mood and joking around. I like this shot of me and Judy and Helen. If I had my life to do over again, I think I would have made a play for Judy. But everybody in the family seemed to be down on me because they thought I was trying to take Tommy's girlfriend away from him. I think I should have tried a little harder. There's Danny and Aunt Leila clowning around. Aunt Leila always teased him and trying to get on to him. But they liked each other quite a bit, I'm sure. It was always meant an affection that I saw. Here's Danny Wayne doing a quick draw after Aunt Lou pointed out. I had the camera set on automatic, so we were having a good time that day. And here's the first pictures of Helen and her new baby, Hank. These are made when she lived up at Lone Oak. Whoops, looks like I slid the camera around there. I love this picture here of Hank. I think I give Helen print of all these, but it's a pretty good first baby picture, if I do say so myself. I think the color's nice, and the eyes didn't come out with that red tint. It's really a terrific baby picture, I think. Here's another shot of him. Looks like I forgot to shave that morning. And here's a picture of Margaret. I think that's Hank. A few months later. I'm not sure. It could be one of the other babies. And we had tragedy strike. Aunt Lily got killed. We were all just shocked to lose her. There's Linda in a flowered print. Helen Sue and Aunt Lois and Lereva and Aunt Viva and Aunt Edith. It's Faye there in white. Pickup there in the background with a camper that I made in Uncle Henry's and Aunt Lily's backyard. Shot of Aunt Lois and Aunt Viva. These are made out in Mulberry Cemetery, of course. Here's a picture of Aunt Edith and Helen Sue. This is at James Lee's grave. They lost him while I was over in Germany, overseas. Of course, that came as a shock to all of us. Aunt Lois and Aunt Viva. These are pictures made of Pedro Mountain. Me and Faye and Aunt Leela and Grandma, and there's Polly in a red skirt, Uncle Troy's daughter. We went on a little tour over to Perry, to our old home place, and went up on Pedro Mountain. And here's a good shot of Grandma and Faye and Aunt Leela up on the mountain. There's Grandma overlooking the valley. With this camcorder, see how the light even changes and shows it more detail, as if you were actually there with the camcorder when the picture was made. Me and Faye and Debbie and Peggy. This is Sonny Johnson and Cora Sue and Grandma and Aunt Leela. Didn't see who that was on the end there. I think that was Peggy. Here's a picture of me and Jean standing in front of Uncle Thurman and Aunt Viva's house. This is before they built a carport on the back and painted the house gray. This is Sue and Aunt Leela and Tommy, or Sonny Johnson, and Grandma. I said, wait, that must be Aunt Viva, because I set my beer can down at her feet, and I told her I had proof that she drank now. We had a big joke over that. There's old Susie. She's the only one brave enough to go out there and try swimming in that cold Point Remove. This is Mary Ann, Faye and Jess's daughter. This is me and Mary and Dorothy. I don't think we got our bathing suits wet that day. Here we are over at Perryville at the old home place. This is Grandpa Powell's house that he and Grandma built. And we homesteaded up there in 1938. Me and Faye and Polly and Faye's girls. The old house was still standing. I'm not sure if that was the barn or the house, though. And here we are taking a break at the park up on Peter Jane. Grandma really enjoyed herself and had a good time. I always loved this picture of Dorothy and Peggy and Debbie. I had a big 8x10 made for Dorothy, and the color just didn't quite come out correct in the print. Here's Faye standing by the old spring at the foot of the hill. We used to carry water from this up to our house, but it was about 3 times bigger than that and looked like a small swimming pool. The water was so clear you could count every gravel rock on the bottom of it, and so cold you could hardly put your hand in it. This is made at the park on top of Peter Jane. I think it's looking down towards Cedar Falls. It's another shot of all of us.